Hi guys, hi everybody, welcome to Cat Tarot, welcome to my channel. My name is Cat. So let me start first of all with very short housekeeping. I'm on vacay from the 1st to the 7th, so upon my return I will address the readings in order, which will be first urgent, then rush, then regular. And I expect that you're still going to get within the time that you have ordered. So be careful with ordering basically urgent during that week. Also, I won't be able to be contacted, so all of the messages will be returned on the 8th. So guys, also don't forget to join social media, and also remember that I have live on Saturdays. It's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. During the summer months, it's going to be bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks is going to be live. Also, if you're part of my mailing list, which you can go on my website to kind of sign yourself on, then you can get some notification as well. So lastly, guys, if you're new here, welcome. And if there is anything that really resonates with you, one statement, two, whatever, usually not everything resonates because this is a general reading, but if anything resonates, that means that message was meant for you. I also suggest that you check not only your sun sign but also your ascendant and your moon. That's going to give you better kind of like triptych to kind of pull all of things together. So this month, because as probably you can hear, I have horrifying allergies, so it's really hard for me to talk. I'm going to kind of like be more focused, maybe really quick 10 minutes within what YouTube recommends. And I'm going to start with astrology because you really liked it last month, and I'm also going to combine with tarot. So let's do that. Alright, so the overview, astrological overview. The first significant astrologic event of July 2020 is a lunar eclipse, just like the previous month. Also, like the previous month, the eclipse happens on the 5th, but this time the sun-moon opposition is on the Cancer-Capricorn axis, which basically foretells certain situations, and they usually relate to career, or to home, or family. And these situations are either going to reach resolution or some kind of climax. So that keeps it in mind, right? It's kind of like that huggy feeling, but it's also there is like an ambition connecting to it. So many of us might deal with events or situations that put our emotional maturity to the test. And this is like being like a little baby, kind of like, I want this, I want this. So, but if you catch yourself doing that, you go, oh, that's what it is. I'm not completely lost it, right? I didn't completely lose it, right? So many of us may deal kind of like with the situation that we will be tested if we have ability to persevere on our chosen path by honoring our families, but really also at the same time remaining independent from them. So in some cases, this energy of this lunar eclipse can spur an epiphany kind of related to how our families have shaped and influenced choices we have made in our lives, right? Lannister always pays his debts. It's kind of like something that family kind of like ingrained inside of us. So some of us might even decide to make significant changes when it comes to our career or the direction in which our lives were going. And we might actually also reach conclusion that we have been going by the desires of our parents instead of following our own star, following our own dreams. So maybe you want to look and transport yourself back 2 years, because there was like some kind of situation that started like 2 years ago, and now it's ending. It's making room for new directions to go in. So this sun-moon opposition happens around the lunar nodes, and they are situated on Gemini-Sagittarius axis, which suggests the need to free ourselves from that obsolete kind of thing. It's sort of like beliefs or dogmas and something we keep repeating, but it's kind of like you're wondering, like, how do I really connect with this, right? And especially if you have South Node in Sagittarius, which is kind of like being that master in the past life and now needing to communicate it in Gemini, right? So in order to embrace these new ideas, which is that North Node in Gemini, maybe it is a time to ask ourselves what really family means to us. what really happy family is. Hello? Anybody read Anna Karenina? And also whether we can regard society as a whole as a larger family, as part of which we all should contribute. So this guy is really age of Aquarius coming on. Everything that you're seeing outside, it's kind of need for equality. Sometimes the pendulum swings one way too much, but the whole point is understanding that we all want the same. You and the next person, you all want the same. You want happiness, you want love, you want peace. Yeah, maybe one person can have better shoes than the other one, but how important that really is, right? Because the circumstances that we are going to see on a social level can be a sort of a buildup of frustration, and that's why we see this manifestation of unrest, right? So until July 22nd, 2020, lots of twos, 222020, so 4 of them. The Sun transits Cancer. So that's basically also, there's Mercury until July 12th. So this is kind of like we need to deal with that retrograde as well. So throughout the month, the Sun and Mercury are in opposition to these other retrograde planets from Capricorn. So like, I mean, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. So as a result, we will notice that it's not quite easy to find a balance between a private and professional lives. Many of us are working from home, and this could be pandemic kind of like imposed, or it could be that you're self-employed and you really have to figure out how to motivate yourself when you're sort of like not, especially if you're extrovert, where you kind of like need other people, how to draw that energy when you're like kind of like withdrawn or secluded, right? So it might be tensions with family members or higher-ups, so kind of like no time to kind of like make these big waves, but discussions have a great chance of proving to be really productive, provided that we are patient enough. Cancer is one patient sign. So happy birthday, Cancers. If I'm forgetting to say that, it is your time, and it is really amazing how one sign can encompass both this like kind of come to my heart, come, and shrewdness about focusing and chasing your own goals. So let's go back also to that retrograde planets in Capricorn, that are Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, but Mars is still in Aries, and this is its own domicile. So just think about, you came home. You're not anymore at Aunt's house. You no longer have to dress for breakfast. You no longer kind of like have to comb your hair and everything. You can kick and do whatever you want, right? So as of the end of the previous month, 27th, and it has the opposite effect, right? So as a result, we are really confident in our own devices, and sometimes this is too much. You see people who you think like, oh, you really shouldn't be confident, but it's kind of like ultimately a good thing, because we all are kind of like walking that perch, and we all are going to face our own demons. So there is no need for us to correct anybody, right? And it's going to be really strong need for novelty and pioneering, and we might run into obsolete system. So I don't know, maybe your grandparents will want you to kind of like check their, what was this, like 8-track or something, kind of like hilarious. So kind of like, again, advice is just be patient, guys, in this situation. So keep in mind that, you know, during the near future, we can progress without keeping in mind the past, right? So for some of us, this might be a right time to resume some older projects that we have been postponing for whatever reason. So Mars is the one that gives us the desire to see this project through, and also gives us that dose of boldness which we have been missing in the past. So socially, however, there might be a buildup of frustrations and tensions that might trigger a conflict. It would be like, blah, like I always wanted to tell you, but blah, it's all out there, right? And so it can trigger that conflict, and it can blow up as of August 2020. That's when Mars will square with the planet situated in Capricorn, right? During this term, it's more important than ever to carefully weigh Our every decision, gesture, and word, whatever we're talking about love life, sex life, professional projects, your social life, whatever, right? We should always keep in mind the long-term consequences and even remember the mistakes of the past so we don't make them again. Yeah, we usually remember that later. So during this term, saving graces can be professionalism, a responsible attitude, all kind of like we have to thank to Cancer for teaching us all of that, and also the ability to come up with long-term strategies. We also shouldn't feel obligated to solve all issues at once or the same moment, the same day. So since Mars spends a lot of time in its domicile sign, so it's usually spending 6 weeks, and now it's spending whopping 6 months, right? It's going to be also in retrograde motion in September, in the fall, right? So everything we now initiate is likely to go through an ample process of remaking and redefining a couple of months from now, because that's what happens in retrograde. You're looking, like, did I switch the light off? Did it, like, you're checking yourself a little bit, right? So do not rush it, right? Then we also have conjunction of Mars and Chiron, July 12th to 16th, which points out the fact that in some of our lives, some older issues and frustrations might come to light when we thought them long gone, right? We can make the most of the energy of this conjunction in order to become aware of the wounds that trigger an aggressive self-defense mechanism. Conjunction means they're really, really close, right? 2 degrees close. So almost like in the sky, they look like they're hugging, kind of a thing, right? So this is also kind of like finding a way toward healing. And by doing that, again, as I said, we are all connected. You have to keep others in mind too, right? So don't kind of like think, oh, I got hurt, I'm going to make you suffer as well. That's not going to work unless you want to kind of bring some really negative karma points on you, right? So Mars also, because now we have Mars in Aries and Venus in Gemini, so very flirty, very aggressive, right? So socially, it's going to be kind of like bursting. It's going to be open and it's going to be daring, and maybe getting a chance to build new connections. I guess stay safe as I'm saying this, but this simply, many of us will forget that kind of like word of caution, right? So the effects of the Mars-Venus combo also mean good news for those who are involved in older or even newer relationships, because they can easily kind of like evade the day-to-day rut and come up with really smart comeback that create a desire for flirting and goofing around, right? It's like usually when we really need to say something, clever, like we get stuck and then we say something boring and go, I had this opportunity. Why did I kind of like lose it, right? Also keeping in mind that at the same time, possessive or codependent people, or some of those people who decide, nope, I'm not going to change. Oh, sweet negative me, I'm going to be the switch, what it is. They're going to feel completely out of base. They're going to feel really weirded out. It's going to be really super easy to spot them, almost as if all the lights are shining on them, and not in a good way, right? Because the energy of this term favors relationships in which partners know how to allow each other space and freedom of thought, right? So that's much so far, guys, and let's go in the individual signs and see how, in addition, that spiritually. Hello, Capricorn. So let's go in a tarot part of your reading for July. I have already shuffled the cards, but just a little bit for your own sake. So let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Woo! There is like a turn of destiny. This is a karma card, and it's a shifting that you're going to feel powerful, that you're going to feel lucky. So this is a good card for playing lottery. This is a good card to ask for the things. This is a good card to moving in certain direction. I would just wait for after the 14th of this month, because this is how it's indicated. Certainly you'll kind of like have wings fully kind of stretched for this, right? And it's a 10 where you have the sun, which is 19, and 1 in 9 is 10. So it's kind of like the similar energy that you're going to feel that you are in the light. Spotlight is on you, right? There's like some level of fairness. Maybe you're getting a promotion. Maybe there's like somebody else coming in your life. This person might have a child, may have a little boy, or they will want to have a child, right? That's kind of like a combination. If this scares you, this might be a person who comes from, let's say, a legal profession, who comes from profession where balancing and fairness is really important. So it could be also, for example, accountant, right, of some sort. So you might be attracted to, let's say, an air sign or a fire sign. It is really happening, and it could be almost some kind of like sense of commitment that is happening. This can also mean kind of like, hey, you know, do you think this is going somewhere, and how do we go with this? There is like a 6 of Pentacles over here, and to me this is like, I mean, usually a two-way street. It's a give and take, which is really important in a relationship, any kind of relationship, personal relationship, work relationship. And it's kind of weird because we have this kind of set rules. You do this work, you get paid, or not so much clear in relationships, but you feel if I kind of like do this, if I'm caring and nourishing, then it's going to come back to me. Not so, right? We have learned all of that. It can be really wild card, right? But now this month, because you're like lucky, everything seems to be working so well oiled. Maybe somebody came back to your life. Maybe somebody's planning to come back on your life and is keeping an eye on you, which is like, look at this one energy. Something is brewing, guys. And this can actually really talk about the partners that have been, that maybe things couldn't work out. And now there is maybe an opportunity, and they're thinking, well, maybe I have jumped the gun, or maybe, you know, they're opening their energy for you to contact them. So there is the possibility of, okay, let's discuss, let's see what happened, because this really talks about sitting down with cool heads and talking about things and airing it. It's not very emotional. It's simply stating your case, because sometimes people just need to take these words out, because they're not big words, they're not big things, but when they hear them in their own head, they seem to be big, right? And then it looks like it's activating it because something is positive happening. And there is like, I mean, there is the wall over here. It's kind of hidden in this deck, right? But it could have been that you have been protecting yourself, or somebody has been protecting themselves, and now you feel you can move forward, right? So there is this dreamland that is happening. I mean, what do I wish? But sometimes it can get overwhelming, and that's going to be one of those freaking months. We wish and wish and wish and wish for ourselves for something to happen, and then we get into the situation and it's like, oh, so many choices. I just wanted vanilla ice cream. What is this? Mocha, mint, and it just all of a sudden just like walk away, or you get tired with all of these options, right? It can be overwhelming. There's like so much good kind of like pushed your way. And this is good. Maybe you felt, you know, that you have been cautious. 4 of Pentacles is about walls and erecting walls, but it's now you're taking them down. They're no longer needed. And this is really important. The Pentacles are coming through because your essence and your sense of security is extremely important to you. So the fact that you are able to take them down means you feel strong, you feel powerful. So just that speaks for itself that this is like what is happening this month, right? This is your own house, and so this is torn energy, but it's reversed. I have a feeling you'll be spending lots of money. You will be self-indulgent. You might even come across as spoiled. It's going to be very easy to lull yourself into this energy thinking it's going to last, but this wheel spins very, very fast. But there's going to be some kind of intoxication with some kind of energy. you will be giving vibes to other people that you want something solid and permanent, but it is just simple situation that is kind of like giving you kind of like this feeling of this. So be very careful, because Mercury retrograde sometimes makes us make commitments and say things that very quickly we realize are not true, even though we believe they were true, right? Until the I would say 19th of this month, you have to be careful with making promises, right? This is your environment, right? This is also Taurus or Libra over here. And look, they're like two spoiled things. So that's kind of like somebody you're probably putting on a pedestal, and you're spending lots of money on this person, and vice versa. Or maybe you're engaging in possible travel. You may be buying gifts. There's like a spa. There's like art. There's jewelry that I'm seeing over here. But it's just overindulgent, like, right? Like you are dreaming a dream with someone, you know, we can do that, we can do that. But you also want, because you're such a pragmatic sign, to put this dream in practice. And this somebody is really pushing you in that direction. Maybe you're hearing love, 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 but it's just like too much happening, which may kind of get out of hand. But you're saying to yourself, it's one life to live. Look at this, 10 and 10. 19 is 1 and 9 is 10, and 1 and 0 is 1. Look at how many indicators you have that something new is starting. You are stepping on a new stage. You have ability to do things, do over of some sort. This is in your hopes and dreams. You just saying, well, it's one life to live, I better live it. I want this comfort. I want to kind of like embrace with someone. This can talk about happy family, and it could be simply reuniting with someone, right? Which kind of like it could be somebody from the past, somebody that you have a child with as well. There is like a sense of a new freedom and a new beginning, a new direction and commitment. And there is commitment, guys, happening over here. I don't know if you guys have a Leo. Leo is strongly positioned over here. Libra, Taurus is strongly positioned. But so are also fire signs. And then you also have this King of Swords. It could be maybe too cool for your taste. You kind of like don't want that much ice. And I really feel that it's going to be highly flirty mode. Just be careful with making commitments. That's all I say. But otherwise, guys, you earned it. You take these walls down. You have been very cautious, so why not to splurge a little bit? So enjoy the month. And I really hope, guys, that you're going to place a comment or two and share your happiness with the rest of us. And if you want a reading with me, you can contact me at cattarot.ca. So until the next time, I wish you all the best and have a good one.